Now it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Tony Hay. As Corporate Vice President of Microsoft Research Connections, Dr. Hay is responsible for worldwide university research collaborations with Microsoft researchers. He is also responsible for the multidisciplinary e-science, not I-science, e-science research group within Microsoft. Prior to joining Microsoft, Dr. Hay served as Director of United Kingdom's e-science initiative, managing the governance efforts to build a new scientific infrastructure for collaborative multidisciplinary data-intensive research projects. Before leading this initiative, he led a research group in the area of parallel computing and was head of the School of Electronics and Computer Science and Dean of Engineering and Applied Science at the University of Southampton. Dr. Hay is a fellow of UK's Royal Academy of Engineering and was awarded a CBE, which stands for Commander of the Most Excellent Order of British Empire for services to science in 2005. He is also a fellow of British Computer Society, Institute of Electrical Engineering and Technology, Institute of Physics, USAAS. He has written several books on particle physics and computing and has a passionate interest in communicating the excitement of science and technology to young people. He has co-authored popular books on quantum mechanics and on relativity. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Tony Hay.
Thank you very much, Dean, for your kind remarks. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a great honor for me to be here. And also, it's a great honor for me to give the commencement address. First of all, some congratulations are in order. I'd like to thank the faculty and staff for all the efforts they put in mentoring, teaching, and advising the students. I also would like to thank the leadership of UCR, the council, and the chancellor and his team for their great vision for the university and how multidisciplinary, data-intensive world of engineering that will come. I have attended one other commencement address in the US. It was at Berkeley, when my son graduated at a similar ceremony like this some years ago. And it was the first rainy day they had at Berkeley commencement in 20 years, and they had no wet weather plans. So we all sat like you, not baking in the sun, but actually getting wet. It was an interesting experience. I also was puzzled by the faculty when they gave the hooding. After finishing the hooding, they did this strange thing saying, "Go Bears." And I'm told you will have to do here, "Go Highlanders." So, I also need to thank the event organizers for organizing the sun cream and the water. One thought you could have, since you have a soccer team here, the World Cup will be in Qatar in 2022, and they're thinking of air cooling or air conditioning their open-air soccer stadiums. So that might be a good thing for a project for the next engineering for your commencement addresses. The other congratulations go to the parents and family. Congratulations for surviving the whole process and for all your support that you've given. There is one good thing. When your children graduate, you effectively get a pay rise. That's a good thing. But I did actually have a Father's Day greeting from my son when I had to explain to him that this is only in principle true, because when he was at Berkeley, he got infected by startup fever, and he's now doing a startup, and I'm still on the hook for that. So I explained to him that even though I now have grandchildren, being a parent is very much work in progress, so you have some way to go. And the graduates, congratulations on finishing your degrees. It really is a major achievement, and it's great to see you all here. I would say, though, that university is like a halfway house between home and real life. And now you get the opportunity to go and live real life by yourselves. I should say 3 very brief stories. From my time as Dean of Engineering at Southampton, I not only had to read the names, and I'm looking forward to the Dean having to do that in the next few minutes, but I also oversaw in my faculty, we trained the UK Navy engineering officers. We used to give courses for their degree program. And I was always very puzzled by what they chose to do. So let me tell you a story of in 1997, the USS Yorktown was part of the US Navy's Smart Ship program. And it had 27 computers on board, all connected by a lightning-fast network. And unfortunately, one of the engineering officers entered a 0 in a database, which caused a divide by 0, and all the computers crashed. And as a result, this highly important ship was sitting there without any power for several hours. And so I never understood why the Navy always insisted on mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, when it was obvious what they needed was computer engineering. So, and that is, if you like, the vision for computing. I had civil engineering, which is about buildings which will be smart and intelligent. An airplane, after all, is merely a flying computing system, and a ship is a floating one. So really, these multidisciplinary skills will be necessary. Information technology will be in everything you do. From my time of running the UK science program, it became clear to me one of the important areas that is coming in the future is the need for data scientists, people who understand and can manipulate and manage and data mine huge amounts of data. In the next 5 years, we'll collect more scientific data than we have in the whole of human history. And that's only in the scientific region. Industry are already there. So to explain what e-science is, I usually take an example. So one of the projects we did was with the engine maker Rolls-Royce, make aero engines. And they had a project with academics at the University of York, and they were actually trying to monitor in flight the health of the aero engine. So they were sending data from sensors on the engine down to the base, where it had left from and where it was going to land, and there they had to compare the data that we're getting with the temperature, the pressure, and all this sort of stuff, with the computer simulation, and with all the history of that particular engine, and with all the history of the maintenance and engineering defects that they'd found in previous engines. And when the plane landed in New York or whatever, they could do preventative maintenance and take out a part. And that's a wonderful example of combining real-time sensor information, databases, computer simulation, as well as sophisticated data mining tools. So that's really what e-science is about, and it's clear it's going to be a part of your life. This weekend, I was at the 100th anniversary of what was essentially the founder of computer science, Alan Turing. He was born 100 years ago, and I'd like to give you 3 comments by 3 of the Turing Award winners. That's like the Nobel Prize, but for computer science. One was from Alan Kay. He invented the sort of Windows, icons, mouse interfaces that we all use today, and also a programming language called Smalltalk. And he said, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. Ken Thompson, who is the author of the enormously successful Unix operating system, was not so helpful. He said, luck is very important. You need to be in the right place at the right time. That's pretty difficult. But at least if you are there, you can be prepared to take action. So being prepared, I think, is what I would take from that. And the last comment is from Butler Lamson, who sees computing as now entering a new age. The first age, the first 30 years from 1950, was about calculation and simulation. The second age the web, the networks, connections, communication, 1980 to 2010. We're entering now the third age of computing, where computers are engaging with us in all sorts of ways, through sensors, through the Internet of Things, computers actually helping us, acting on our behalf, preventing accidents and so on. So I think that's really a wonderful vision of where we're going, and I think you guys have the opportunity to make that happen. So some words of final advice. I think it's really worthwhile keeping your personal and professional integrity, because I really believe you'll be happier that way. You need to be adaptable, and I'm pleased to see you have teamwork and multidisciplinary programs are built into your course here, and that will be essential for the future of what you do in engineering. It's important to have a good life and to try and find some way to do something you care about, and that will create, in the words of Andrew Carnegie, the big industrialist who founded the Carnegie Foundation, to do some real and permanent good. And my last piece of advice is try to have some fun on the way. Thank you very much.